Personally, I see that achieving a much more sustainable system in our daily lives and also a greener environment requires time. It is like a marathon, it is not a sprint. Hi everyone, welcome back to Zevaulia. First of all, I would like to say thank you to everybody who have been watching my videos. It means so much, especially to those who have subscribed and engaged with my content through likes and comments. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already done so, I'm waiting for you to hop in. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you will always get the latest updates from me, and feel free to share my videos around so more people will be inspired to live more sustainably, to be healthy in their minds or body, and also be more empowered and push for natural beauty. Now today I would like to discuss with you a bit more about waste issues. Let me quickly just show you something. In 1985, there was this super popular sci-fi film called Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox, anyone?
Back to the future.
Wait a minute, what are you doing, Doc?
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
Yes, we will discuss more about waste to energy, or some people also call it energy from waste. As seen in the clip, there's a super smart scientist in the film called Emmett Doc Brown, and he used garbage as fuel for his flying DeLorean car. And this flying DeLorean car is actually also a time machine. This topic is super important to discuss is because of the pros and the cons behind the concept of waste to energy. But you know, when we're trying to find solutions to make the world a better place, to make it more environmentally friendly, these solutions will get scrutinized, especially if it has environmental and also social impacts. And this is where usually clashes of ideas and thoughts happen. Intermezzo, have you watched my previous video about plastic waste and its impacts to the ocean? If not, you better check it out. Now, the difference between that video and this one is the type of waste that we will discuss. This video will elaborate waste, a main ingredient in the waste to energy process that is more broad in scope: municipal solid waste. Municipal solid waste by urban dwellers is rising, peoples, and municipal solid waste in lay people's terms is basically garbage. Now look at Asia as an example. Asia is growing not only by its urban population but also its economic growth. From 2010 to 2016, the GDP of Asian countries combined exceeds the global average. As what one of my former European investment consultant colleagues told me, Asia is the future. Here's some urban data on urban population growth. With population and economic growth kicking in, this means that municipal solid waste management game across the world, especially Asia, needs to be strong and managed correctly, because if not, these things will happen. There are various innovations out there to address the issue of increasing volumes of waste because of daily human habits, and one of these innovations is waste to energy. Now, how does waste to energy exactly work? To produce energy from waste to energy plants, municipal solid wastes are the key ingredients, and these are the things that consist within municipal solid waste. In a nutshell, a waste-to-energy plant converts that solid waste into an output in the form of electricity, heat, and/or fuel for various industrial processing and for district heating systems in certain countries. To make heat and electricity, the energy plant works by burning waste at really high temperatures, which produces heat. This heat then produces steam, which will then drive a turbine that will generate electricity. To make fuel, as the waste decays, it will then turn into methane gas, and this methane gas will go through refining processes, which will turn it into fuel. Voila! These plants use incinerators as an apparatus to treat it by burning waste. It involves processes such as combustion, plasma arc gasification, and pyrolysis. As I mentioned earlier, there are two sides to the coin, those who support it and those who are against it. So now let's talk more about those who support it first. I'm going to take examples from Denmark and also Sweden, and then afterwards I'm going to give a more thorough example from Indonesia, where I come from. And just a disclaimer, I know that within countries there are always diverse opinions, but I'm going to share with you major trends from both the public and also the private sectors of these countries. Let's take a look into Denmark and Sweden. Both these countries are very well known for their waste-to-energy systems. In Europe in general, approximately tens of millions of tons of waste is converted into valuable energy through waste-to-energy technology. Now, how does Denmark and Sweden do it? In Denmark and Sweden, it is believed that burning municipal solid waste into energy has various benefits, such as these ones here. Volun, Denmark, for example, they stated that their waste-to-energy technology helps to eliminate emissions, and it is a great alternative to reduce the use of fossil fuels. They believe that waste-to-energy is a way to recover valuable resources, and it is a part of a larger sustainable waste management chain, which is also fully complementary to recycling. Based on a report by Sverige, a little over than a half of Sweden's household waste is recycled, processed, and composted through anaerobic digestion. The remainder is burned in incinerators in Sweden's 33 waste-to-energy plants, and these plants provide heat and also electricity to Swedish households. Environmental activist and analyst Owen Gaffney from the Stockholm Resilience Center sees waste-to-energy as having more upsides than downsides. He emphasizes that it's not a perfect solution, but because of stringent regulations, toxic chemicals are actually much more lower now. Carbon dioxide emissions, though, are an issue. He stated that, like fossil fuels, biomass will generate greenhouse gas emissions as it decomposes, and this is a part of a natural carbon cycle. He said that when you do the math, emissions from burning waste is actually quite similar to those of natural gas. Now let's microscope on my home country, Indonesia. So recently, the Indonesian government in February 2019 launched Gerakan Indonesia Bersih or Clean Indonesia movement, and there are also waste-to-energy programs within this movement that is integrated in the 5 core National Action Plan strategies that will be supported by 59 programs through its 16 ministries. And this automatically supports the Energy and Mineral Resources Ministry's waste-to-energy programs across 8 cities in the country. The city of Surakarta, for example, has signed a PPA or a power purchase agreement back in December 2018 that will help process 450 tons of its daily city trash that will be generated into electricity for approximately as big as 10 megawatts in 2020. The signing of this PPA by Surakarta also adds on to the list of all the other PPAs that Indonesia has regarding renewable energy. And state-owned company PT PLN has agreed to buy electricity generated from these plants. And once the tender is completed, the company will sign a 20-year power purchase agreement. These power generation projects will help reduce the waste volume within the country. It remains a part of Indonesia's commitment to tackling climate change as agreed at the COP21 conference in Paris in 2015. It remains one of the elements in achieving Indonesia's national energy mix development of new and renewable energy. Since the technology received a green light, more environmentally friendly technologies have to be invested. Especially knowing that older technologies aren't so good and environmentally friendly, we need to ensure that the technology used is up to date and environmentally friendly, and that strict regulations are in place. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin, those who don't support it. You can say that waste-to-energy is better than putting waste in landfills because landfills release GHG, like methane, which is 21 times more powerful than CO2, but some view that there are still cons to this method that we really need to think about. Let's look at Europe. Because of increasing pressure in order to support a more circular economy, there is an EU action plan to phase out incinerators. This is to push for organics movement, recycling, waste reduction, and waste diversion. There is a growing zero-waste movement in grassroots levels around the world, especially in Europe and the United States. This movement believes that waste incineration is not a solution even if it could create waste into energy. These are their general standing positions. This movement prefers recycling and composting and more investment towards the two. It is seen that if we burn materials, it will actually discourage efforts to reduce waste and also preserve resources we already have. So basically, consumerism and waste production will still run rampant, and the energy that burns waste will also be wasted. In comparison, if recycling and composting is pushed more, it will actually save more energy. And also, they believe that it is quite redundant to call waste a renewable energy because waste comes from finite sources. Even though nowadays there are more advanced incineration technologies, this movement still believes that this linear method still releases pollutants into our air, soil, and water, which will eventually enter our food chain. This movement believes that incinerators emit more CO2 per megawatt hour than coal-fired, natural gas-fired, or oil-fired power plants. The technology and financing are also expensive, especially if not further financially financially supported by, say, central governments. And as with technology, there is also a debate that it will help job creation. For example, it will take away livelihoods of waste pickers. But nevertheless, I think there should be safety nets to ensure that these people will still have ways to earn a living, whether they still work in the waste management system or whether they find another occupation that is much more healthier. So what do you think? Which side are you leaning more towards? Comment in the comment section below. Personally, I see that achieving a much more sustainable system in our daily lives and also a greener environment requires time. It is like a marathon, it is not a sprint. And also, there are many avenues, there are many ways and levels that we have to go through to create all of this. It is a daily grind, just like me, establishing this YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and also push the notification bell. If there are many paths to choose from and things you want to be a part of to become more sustainable, go ahead. It's still towards the same goal, and we should do this simultaneously. However, healthy discussions are also required to keep everybody on track, to keep everybody accountable, and ensure that everybody is refining their methods. Because everyone's conditions are different, every country's conditions are different. We cannot generalize and use one cookie cutter on every single condition. Say no to situations where a group of people or a group of countries or a certain country thinks that they are more advanced and more better than anyone else, because we have to remember that everybody is on their own pace. Every country has their own conditions. We cannot dictate and standardize what to do without considering the localized, social, political, economical conditions, etc., and challenges that other group of people or countries have to face. Does that ring a bell? Give opportunities for localization, adaptation, refinement, and innovation. Energy supply diversification will always be a positive thing to push us away from the use of fossil fuels. Also, push more people to innovate. For example, in Spain, there is a Spanish chemical recycling company called Plastic Energy. Plastic Energy is endorsed by no other than the naturalist and broadcaster Sir David Attenborough. Plastic Energy successfully converted domestic end-of-life plastic continuously and at a commercial scale, having developed a patented thermal anaerobic technology recycling process that turns the rubbish that would otherwise end up being incinerated into an oil called tack oil, which can be used to produce new plastics or as an alternative fuel source following condensation and refining, which supports the creation of a circular economy. Its modular plants can also integrate into existing infrastructure and complement mechanical recycling, boosting local economies. Want to push for zero waste living too? That's also great. We can't expect everyone to instantly become zero waste individuals, but if you can help grow this realization in people's minds and they do things step by step based on their capacity, that's awesome. Because in my opinion, living with zero waste requires a radical change in mindset, habits, and lifestyle. This should grow simultaneously with other eco-initiatives out there too. Yes, it is not an easy path because business as usual is still very rampant in various industries, and it requires time and energy and effort to change lifestyle habits, but it is not impossible. It is actually more implementable than you think, especially if there is a personal, social, cultural, economical, and political push. To transition into a greener economy requires a lot of effort and a lot of time, but it can be accelerated if more people join in and actually do these efforts and these push. And back again to the concept of waste to energy, it is not a perfect solution. However, it is one of the ways that we can do to achieve a greener economy, to achieve a greener and more sustainable world. It is always good to discuss, it is always good to give constructive feedback and also keep refining our ways. And this is better than not doing anything at all. Thank you so much everybody for watching. I hope that the breadth of information I have given you will really open your eyes more and also clearing up your mind towards the waste situation that exists around us. And don't forget, if you like this video and if you believe that I have given you new or updated information, to give your thumbs up and also comment down below if you have anything you want to ask or you want to add. I am very open for that. And if you want to go a step further and really help me navigate and also multiply the impact, feel free to share my videos out there on your social media outlets, on your email, word by mouth, anything you want to do. It will mean so much, and it will also accelerate our initiatives as a collective to make this world a more sustainable place to live in. See you in the next video. Thank you. Sampai jumpa.